Hey everybody, this is your boy Bunny 3000 and I am here to talk to you guys about a recent event that we had that I went to with my lovely wife. It was the New York, New Jersey Walker Stalker Con, and it was a fantastic event that is dedicated to the TV show called, of course, The Walking Dead. That's on AMC. Right now it is in between. It's about halfway through season 5, I think it is. So there were a number of people that were there, and I might as well go ahead and do it. This is the debut of my wife, who also attended the show with me. Say hello to the people, Adrianne.
Hi.
So yeah, so basically, go ahead and show them the guide and everything that we had from it there. So this was the badge. It was for what dates was it?
It was just Saturday.
December
Oh,
13th and 14th.
yeah, December 13th and 14th. So it was a weekend event.
hmm And we only went to the Saturday show because that was the only one we were really able to attend. So basically, they had a number of the cast there at the show, and they were there doing interviews, photo ops, autograph signings, all kinds of stuff. And let's see here. So this was like the little guide or the the little handout that they gave that basically showed everything that happened at the everything that was going to happen at the Walker Stalker Con. It was kind of interesting. It was at the what is it called?
The Meadowlands Convention Center.
Yeah, and for some reason
Meadowlands
Expo
Exposition Center
Yeah.
in my hometown, or great state rather, of New Jersey.
Yeah. So this was what your second convention that you've been to, right? Because you went to Comic-Con with me back in like 2011.
Well, I guess I've been to other conventions, but I guess conventions of this realm.
Like fan conventions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I went to Comic-Con 2010.
Was it 10?
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
So you said, have you been to any other like fan conventions of like any shows or anything like that before?
Well, actually, I went to a Comic-Con in Durham with your sister.
Oh, yeah, that was a convention.
Yeah, it didn't compare to like New York Comic-Con at all, but it was a convention. But actually, I don't think I've been to many conventions other than, Comic-Con and now, well, the sucky Durham Comic-Con, and but this one I was really excited about, the Walker Stalker Con. This is actually BJ's birthday present.
Yeah. So actually, you know what? Tell the people why, because I know you're not really big on like sci-fi,
No.
but you kind of like horror or whatever. So what is it about The Walking Dead that kind of gripped you or drew you to it? Because I know you were kind of like iffy about it when I was talking to you about it before you started watching, and then you watched it and you really started liking it.
Wow, that seems so long ago that I was iffy about it, because now I will defend it like it's one of my own children. Well, I just think it's a great series, and it's totally beyond the zombies. I mean, the zombie part is really cool. But it's so much more than that, and um basically I just feel like every time I watch it I get this wonderful cathartic feeling, and I'm always, doing PR and marketing for the show actually. I'm always trying to get, friends
More
and
people
family
to
to
watch
watch it.
Yeah.
And a lot of my friends are like, "Oh no, I couldn't take the zombies. I'd have nightmares. It's too gory." And it's just so much more than that. That's just the little froth, I guess, the zombie part. But I just think the series is wonderfully written, um, amazingly directed, and of course, very, very well acted. And we got a chance to see some of the great actors of the show at Walker Stalker Con. But I just think it's a great series, and it's just um, it has much more depth than I guess people would imagine when
Yeah,
they're
it
thinking
does.
like zombies. It's not like your typical zombie,
Show.
Night of the Living Dead,
Yeah, or movie or
Dawn of the
horror flick.
Dead.
Yeah, it's not your typical horror
Yeah.
flick. And that's kind of what I think. I've kind of done almost the same thing with the comic book, which the show is based on. And a part of me wants to say loosely, but a majority of the characters that are on the show are in the comic book, and then there's maybe only a few that aren't in the comic book. It's been amazing to see what they've done with the show, as it pertains to the actual storyline in the comic book, because they've managed to take the core of the story in the comic book, add just enough characters and tweak the story enough so that you kind of recognize like the locations and the people that come in and out of the show, but you never know what's going to happen. You have an idea, so yeah, I know they're going to go to the prison. Yeah, I know they're going to go to, DC or something like that. But you don't know when exactly. You don't necessarily know how. So they keep you on your toes. And I think the way they've kind of progressed in it, um, is just right. So, for instance, the character Aunt Andrea
Mm-hmm.
that died, she got turned in. Well, she didn't turn into a walker, but she died at what is it, Woodbury or Wood?
Yes, she did.
Yeah, Woodbury, whatever
Mm-hmm.
the place is called, right? Um, but in the comic book, she's still alive, and
Oh.
she's with Rick.
Mm.
So, they've changed up just enough just to keep everybody on their toes to say, oh, of course he's going to be alive. And then
And
next
I
thing you
think
know,
that's good. That's the great thing about it is that because I haven't been keeping up with the comic books, but of course I watch the show. So for those that are keeping up with the comic books, the series is not following the comic books verbatim. So like BJ said, there's always a twist, or you just keeps you in suspense to think what's going to happen or how are they going to direct the series differently from the way the comic book is written. But also from I've been considering I gotta like read these comics. I haven't done it yet, but I've said I gotta start reading this because everyone tells me that the comic book is way more intense, um, compared to the show. So
yeah, it's definitely something that you can read along with the show, which is amazing. It's rare that you're ever going to find a show or a book or a comic book that's so closely, that is so popular amongst both. So it's definitely its own phenomenon. I think they were saying the pilot for season 4 had like 16.1 million viewers when it came on last year, and it has undoubtedly become the most popular television show on cable TV, basically. um, I don't know what the numbers were for like season 5, but I think they hit another record when they hit that one, when they released that one this year in October as well. So let's go ahead. We talked a little bit about the show. Let's go ahead and tell them a bit about what we actually saw at the convention. Um, so tell me what you thought of the venue. Because I know when we both walked in, we both kind of had a similar reaction when we actually got inside. So I'd be interested to see what you thought when we got inside and we started walking around.
well, you mean in terms of the size of the venue?
Yeah, size or
Well,
whatever we actually saw was there or
mm,
was not
I don't even know what I expected. And I don't even know if it met my expectations. I still had a great time. It was really cool. So yeah, honestly, I didn't even know what I was gonna see when I walked in. Um it was I think it was like a little bit smaller than I expected, but that's okay.
there.
It was still really cool. I just thought it was amazing, and the best part was, of course, the actors. I think they had all of the actors, well, most of the actors in the series that play a major role were there.
Mm-hmm.
I think the only ones that weren't here at the Meadowlands were Michonne and Rick. But there will be other tours that they'll be joining. So that was really cool to see, you know, Herschel and Meryl, and then they even had like some of the newbies like Noah, and then they had like Beth Green. So that was really cool to see like all of them in the flesh, and then to actually get a chance to, you know, tell Tyrese to his face, like, come on, word on the street is you have to man up on the show, which Chad Coleman, the actor that plays Tyrese, was just, you know, I mean, we've only met him briefly, and we got a chance to, you know, take pictures and be all starstruck with him, but he was just such a sweet guy. He was, you know, really great. And you know, by the time we met him, I had already had all my zombie makeup on, which is like another cool part of the convention. So I kind of regret the fact that I had to meet him with like my zombie do on, because
I thought it was fine.
Even though
he
that
appreciated
was, sure, but I just wish he
had not seen you without a makeup.
I mean, I had like rotten teeth, for goodness sake, and I'm like, hi, oh, nice to meet you.
And she had these bright green neon contacts.
That was so cool.
And this big scar. And I'll definitely post the pictures of her actually getting the makeup and, you know, with the contacts in and everything on the post.
That was like my favorite part, because it's always been a dream of mine to become a zombie. So, but that part, and you know, I didn't know that they were going to have that there. And of course, you know, it's a convention, a fan convention, so you know, people were already doing their own big costumes at home that they were coming. But of course, you had the opportunity to get, you know, zombified there, which once seen, because there were several booths that were doing the makeup and different kinds of makeup, and they had the 3-dimensional makeup going with the latex, you know, scars and airbrushing, and it was amazing. And I had to take that opportunity to get zombified. It was really cool, and then to add the contacts too, and that was like my first time wearing contacts, period. So to have like green zombie-eyed contacts was really, really cool. It really added to, you know, the look, and to have that scar. It was really, really cool. And you know, the girl that did the job for me, the makeup, she did a really amazing job. So that was one of my favorite parts, definitely. You know, getting my face done, and then of course, like I said, meeting well, I actually only got to meet and hug and be starstruck by Chad Coleman because, of course, there were like really long lines, super duper long lines to meet these amazing actors. I mean,
so
Norman Reedus'
who was it that you actually wanted to take a picture with?
Well, Norman Reedus.
Daryl.
Yeah.
For those who don't know.
But Daryl's line was like...
There were like 2 lines. You had to get tickets to get in the line just so that they could be certain that they could serve everybody. And it was like, they had a big person holding up a sign. If you got a red ticket, go over here. If you got a yellow ticket, go over there. It was... and I... Honestly, the whole time that I was there, I didn't see him take a break. Now, I could be wrong, and they could have just been people stayed in line regardless of whether he was there or not, which more than likely was probably the case. But it's interesting to see, you know, actors and actresses at events like this to see how they react, because honestly, I don't know how some of them are able to do it and still be like mega super ultra nice the entire time. Because if you think about it, they're there all day, and all they're doing is cheesing up, hugging up, signing, taking pictures. You know, it's... Might I add, just to take a picture with the actor is like $50 and up, so they're gonna be cheesing it up, all right. They're getting paid to take those pictures. They're still getting paid for it, but still, I mean, you're talking about hundreds of people coming through. I don't know if I probably might even. Honestly, you could probably say thousands. Maybe. Well, I don't want to say thousands, maybe 1,000. I don't
But
know, over the
they,
course of a couple of days. That's a lot.
regardless though, they just seem, I mean, like I said, I went up and spoke to Chad Coleman. You spoke to Soniqua
I spoke to
Martin
Chad also.
Green.
hmm
Yeah, Chad Coleman. And then
Yeah.
we saw Bob. I forget the actor's name that
Yeah, he's in there
plays
something.
him.
What is his
But,
name?
they just seemed like they were
Lawrence
having a,
Gilliard Jr.
yeah, from The Water Boy.
Yep.
They just seemed like they were having a really great time. And, it's just really cool to be amongst all of these zombie loving.
Fans. Yeah, and I was interested. Honestly, I was thinking that I was gonna see more people dressed up before we went in. I know when we
Yeah.
got
We
in there,
saw a
we saw
few.
people that had makeup, and some of them had done it before,
Mhm.
and some, and I think more of them had actually had it done, kind of like you, while they were there. Which
Yeah.
honestly is still cool because the
Yes, it
because
was.
the makeup artists that were there were amazing. They were fantastic.
Yeah.
Of course you had to pay for
We
that too,
but we
but
saw some really cool costumes, like homemade costumes too.
mhm.
That they had like, the wedding party dresses on, like,
Oh
the bride
yeah.
and groom, and
Mhm.
they like put some, it was really cool. I
It
mean,
was.
sometimes going to these conventions, like the best part is seeing like the effort that other
The
people
fans
put
put
into,
into it,
like,
yeah.
that's really awesome.
Mhm.
Um
Actually, now that I think about it, when we were there, um, I can't remember if it was Saniqua or no, it was when we were in line, when I was in line to talk to Bob to see if I could talk to his management.
uh
There was a guy, a fan, who actually had, he had like a homemade riot shield.
oh, that's
And
so
he put
cool.
like, he put like blood and stuff on the front of it, and he had signatures from the entire cast there. So he was
Oh,
going from
that's
cast member to
cool.
cast member and getting their autographs on that
Mhm.
shield, which is a great idea. Because I mean, you think about it, everybody's like, oh, let me buy a little picture or something, get the autograph, and he brought something to the convention. That once he was done, that's a
Well, you get
collectible
a lot
for
of
you.
good ideas because I remember thinking earlier this year before I even knew what a Walker Stalker Con was. I'm like, oh, I wish they can have like a zombie convention. I'd love to go to a zombie convention. Lo and behold, like, hey,
Booyah!
zombie conventions exist. Yes. So, this was my first zombie convention. Of course, you kind of don't really know what to expect, but you get like some really cool ideas, and you think like, because they have like, the next one is going to be in San Francisco. They have like a whole, there's a couple more left: San Francisco, Chicago, Dallas, Orlando, Boston, Atlanta, and then all the way up to next year in New York, New Jersey again. So you just get these cool ideas and these dreams of like what you can make it. I mean, I wish we could have went for like another day, because if we would have went for, I mean, we did have passes for both days, but we can only
Yeah.
go for one day.
hmm
I mean, I would have made, I would have, tried to get there really early and stand in line, for the Norman
VIP
Reedus.
pass.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I noticed that at each one of the people, each one of the actors and actresses, they had a line for regular people to take, pictures and what you call it, in autographs, and they had a separate line
Oh,
for
yeah, yeah.
VIP.
VIP is
So
definitely the way to go with anything. And then also too, they had some really good panels that we weren't able to take advantage of too much because, we just
we were
were,
really there more so for fun, just to see what was going on.
but
So
the panels, or the things that were going on, like with the actor from The Hobbit,
yep.
and then they had like they even had like what's his name? Iron E, the guy that plays T Dog,
Oh
was doing some play. That was extra. You had to pay extra for that, but I think later
yeah,
on he was gonna have some sort
Iron
of
Iron E
Iron E.
Singleton.
He was doing some sort of like one man play based off of his character or something like that. They
Yep.
just had some really cool extras that
Well, actually, that wasn't even a part, necessarily a real part of
I
it.
think
That
that,
was something separate.
yeah,
That was something
but
like, it was like an after.
it was after
Yeah, you
you
had
had
to
to pay
pay
extra,
extra
but
to go
still,
into
and
that.
they had like some other like panel things going on
Yeah, because that's
throughout
the
the
guy we
day.
saw.
They had
What's
like a
his name?
band that was playing. Somebody's band was playing, right?
That was Carl's
Carl,
band.
like that's,
Carl and his whole family have like a little
yeah.
band, so they were there performing that night.
And didn't they
Let's
have
see.
something about Beth Green's music too? Like
Yeah.
these are just things
hmm
that we just, we had to like really do the compact version. Um, we didn't get a chance to do everything, but it's, if you really like, schedule it well enough and you know, plan your schedule or whatever, plan ahead, you can like really, it's really awesome and definitely worth it, you know,
Yeah,
if
like
you're,
the only panel we saw was the actor Manu
yeah, which
Bennett.
like I'm totally not a fan of The Hobbit, so it was just like,
Yeah, she
hi,
didn't.
what's going on? I
Honestly,
didn't
even
know
when
who
he
that
came on
was.
stage, I didn't know who he was, and they
Well,
announced that
yeah.
he would that currently he's working on the show Arrow, playing as the character Slade. Um, and
He was like this hot British
which I
guy
don't.
with dark hair and stuff. He was a good
Yeah,
looking guy.
which I don't watch. I know Jason watches that show. But what neither one of us knew or noticed was on The Hobbit he plays as like the main villain, which is this bald white orc with one hand that's just massive and has scars, and so there was no way you'd be able to recognize this guy as this orc. He even said it himself. I mean, the whole time he was shooting that movie, he was basically in a green leotard because they had to green screen him and put all of the orcish stuff all over him to make him appear as his character. So he was just as the I forget what the host, whoever the host was, just like the host announced. This guy had some amazing stories. He spent the whole hour or half hour or however long he was up there just telling stories about the filming process and his character, all the characters that he plays and everything. So,
But that part like really meant nothing to me because it didn't have anything to do with the zombies or the
which
Walking
didn't make
Dead,
any sense to me. But he was
and
there.
it had to do with the Hobbit. And again, like I'm not a fan of like Hobbit. I don't know if I'm gonna get crucified over these
No,
airwaves
because
or
this is The
cyberspace.
Walking
Cyber.
Dead. This is where we
I know,
are.
but probably a lot of people like that, like The Walking Dead, probably like The Hobbit too.
Not necessarily. It's almost two different genres. It's like
Well, I
halfway
just love The
horror.
Walking Dead, so let's just finish talking about that. But
Yes, that's what we're talking
but
about.
you know what is
So that was
interesting
kind of
too?
random.
Well, I mean, there was like another just pointing out like what panels were there and
Mm-hmm.
what other celebrities were there. But anyway, so like I said before, it was cool to see Herschel there, and Andrea
Yeah.
was even there. Like they had a lot of the stars from the show that were not part of the current season, that had died back in like two
Season
seasons
one.
ago, yet their legacy like
Mm-hmm.
totally lives on, and it's like they're gonna be forever and part of this amazing world.
Mm-hmm.
Zombie apocalypse, you know fandom amazingness. But yeah, it was really cool to see like those actors there and still like getting the love from the fans, especially Herschel, what's that actor's name? I forget, but he's an amazing actor.
Yeah. I'll find it.
Just seeing him there, and
Mm-hmm.
because I was like, that was like one of the hard ones when Herschel
When
when Herschel
Herschel
got his head
died.
chopped off. That was
Yeah.
like
Scott
really
Wilson, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
Scott
Scott Wilson.
Wilson. Scott Wilson, who had like a little cameo or a small role in that movie Monster, because we were watching it the other day. I'm like, Herschel, which he had a bad ending in that, a bad fate in that movie too, unfortunately. But yeah, so would we do Walker Stalker Con again? Was this the first
Yes.
year that they had this?
I want to say it was, but I could be wrong because, like you said, this was the first time I even knew they had a convention for The Walking Dead. So it could very well have been something
This
that
is
they
only
had, but we
season
didn't know
5,
about it.
so they couldn't have had it like.
They might have had it. What I mean by that is they might have had it last year and we didn't know about it or hear about it. So I don't know.
Well,
we'll have to look into
would we do
that.
it again? Is the question. Would you do it again and go all out?
Well, I don't know about all out, but I know that at least the next time that I would go, I would at least try to be able to get one interview with somebody, or do one photo op, because they said that with the photo ops, you're expected to purchase those early, and then they schedule them. So like those rooms right at the front that we kept seeing the lines for, that's where everyone was, so hot and heavy to get to because they had
so that
scheduled
was the different
times.
photo. What's the difference between that photo op and the one that you?
They basically, you can choreograph it however you want with whatever character or characters that you want. And they take the picture and, then they give you the picture or email you the picture or whatever. So Yeah, she's got over here.
Cool. That Lizzie. That's so cool.
Yeah, so they allow you to do different things with the cast, and all the cast members apparently have scheduled times when they were going to do each one of these photo ops. So it's definitely something that I would probably save up for, to be able to get more, have more photo ops or more autographs, and maybe, like you said, just like the other guy that had the riot shield, maybe start off and say, okay, this Stalker Con I'm going to pay for 2 autographs, or this next one, I'll pay for 2 more or something like that, and be actually have some kind of memento of the actual show to be able to use. So
well, we
that's what
we got a memento.
Yeah, we had a couple of pictures, and
well, I mean, we got a memento.
We might actually be able to use that. Now that I think about it.
Use it for what?
Use that to, yeah, I mean, start getting autographs on.
Oh.
Don't you think that'd be a good idea?
Well, I mean, this
idea?
is our memento. So there was like, a lot of vendors there and everything, and the one vendor zombified it was an illustrated, zombified thingy, and so basically this is us on the cover of the comic.
Mm-hmm. So let me try to get that
zombified. Oops. There we go.
There's his name.
So
Andy Driscoll.
Yeah,
that's his name. Andy Driscoll of Sweet Monkey Studios.
It wasn't like what are those things called where you go down the shore or to the carnival and get the. It wasn't like
caricature.
That. Yeah,
no,
it wasn't like
a
caricature. It was, it took him like over an hour, maybe an hour and a half to complete that, because
it might have been about that.
Well, we set him up with our images, with our pictures and everything, and
he said he'd zombify
and
us, basically.
we came back. He called us or whatever to come back at a certain time, and it was really cool. So this is like, I don't know why BJ's smiling. That's funny.
Well, that was what my picture was.
But he should have now that I think about it, you should have given him a picture where
I was smiling.
You weren't smiling so hard because you're like the happiest zombie ever. And then me.
So are you. You're
I
happy
look like
too.
a grandmother zombie. I'm like, oh my gosh, I look. I mean, granted, it's a zombie. So then also like, oh no, I gave him the picture of me without the makeup. Because
that's
would
right.
have been weird if I gave him the picture with the zombie makeup. So this is, I gave him a picture of how I looked that day before the makeup. So I'm like, why do I look like old? Why do I look like I aged? But zombiness is zombiness. So who knows how we're gonna look when we transform?
Yeah,
but basically. This is really cool. So this is our memento. Well, one of our mementos from the show. So that's probably a good idea that we can kind of get some autographs if they don't write really big. I don't know.
Yeah.
Try to
or even maybe
or on the back.
Yeah,
maybe?
on the back. I don't know. I still kind of want it on the front. I would suppose. I don't know. I'm sure they'd be able to put it in various areas.
So we gotta frame this or something anyway.
Yeah.
Our prized possession. So yeah, we had a really cool time. It was awesome. I'd do it again. And what's really amazing are the amount of kids that we saw there. I'm thinking
kids that are fans.
This is gonna be an adult thing. There were families there, strollers, all of that stuff. So I'm like, oh, we can even bring the kids next time. I mean, kids dressed up as zombies. It was kind of cute, but in terms of the show, knowing about the show, ooh.
Yeah, they had, and it was interesting. Just like in Comic-Con, they had events that are happening after, the so-called show floor is closed. Like we said before, the little concerts, the little one-man play that T-Dog did. They had some zombie laser tag someplace else that was only for people that went to the convention. They had they just had different events that were tied to the convention that were going to be nearby or whatever, which is always a good idea. Me personally, I thought there would have been more vendors there. there was
Yeah.
really only one vendor that was there that actually you could buy the comic books from, which I thought was odd. Um, I mean, considering the show itself is based on a comic, you would have thought there'd be at least two, comic book vendors there, even if they're just selling horror comics, which, for the most part is the theme of the show because they had, people from Night of the Living Dead. They had actors and actresses from the old movie from long, long, long time ago. When was that? 1970 something, right? Something like that.
Or before,
Yeah, yeah.
or
So
maybe
like,
before then.
yeah, so like way, way back when, one of the original, zombie movies from back in the day, they had actors and actresses from there. So you would have thought they would have had something more to tie into it. They had a few vendors that were just selling like sci-fi horror collectibles and statues and figures, those little pop figures or whatever of all the Walking Dead characters.
One of
Um,
my favorite vendors, even though I didn't buy anything from this vendor, but one of an interesting vendor was the baby, the
oh my
real life
gosh.
baby.
Yeah, I have to put the pictures and everything for that as
They
well.
have, well, these, I forgot what they're called,
I think I
almost
have the
real
card for it.
babies. That's like a big thing with people that just collect dolls. They have these um babies or these dolls that look resemble real babies or real, newborn babies, but the twist that this vendor did was that they were zombified babies. It was just the creepiest, coolest thing ever. Um, babies drinking blood or having a little bottle, and there's a picture of me like holding one of the babies, and it looks like a real baby, and it just looks so creepy, but really
Yeah,
cool at
it
the
was
same time.
disturbing. It was
Yeah, it
definitely
was just
disturbing.
like really weird. I mean, he had some very interesting stuff at his table that was like a little bit disturbing, but still made you like, I said to him, I'm like, why? And he's like, why
Why
not?
not? Yeah,
And
that
I'm
was
like,
his
I
tag.
guess. So that was very, very interesting. And, the prices for some of those things, some of those dolls was just like, whoa. Some of them ended up being priceless too. It was very interesting, and they were like different sizes. He had the newborn, and then like the
I think
toddler
I have the
size
picture
one.
here. I took it with my camera. That's probably what it was.
Yeah, and you took it with my camera.
Oh, with
Yeah,
your
it's with
camera.
my
That's
phone.
what it
But
was. Yeah.
anyway, it was really interesting. What was it called? You said you had the card, almost real. I forgot.
Yeah, I'll put the post up on I'll post it as well. I just wanted to show you guys one of the pictures that we had. I don't know if you'll get a really good picture. That was Sonequa Martin Green, who was very, 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 very pregnant at the time.
She looks very, very, very beautiful
Yes,
too.
yes, yes, yes. She plays the character Sasha. And just to give you an idea of how my wife looked after she had the zombified makeup, here's a picture.
The green contacts and all,
Bleh.
rotted teeth.
Yes, yes, yes.
Cool.
And she had her first interview opportunity. I'm not even certain what these guys' names were. Did they even tell you what the name of their show was?
I don't know. I think they were just covering the
I'm sure they have
event.
their own podcast or something like that because they
So
have
as
their
you
own
can tell, they are supposed to
camera.
be Rick and Glenn.
Mm-hmm.
So they pulled me aside and asked me some questions about,
Mm-hmm.
the show and what my faves were, and just some interesting, silly questions. So
Mm-hmm.
that was pretty fun.
And they had the Walking Dead pinball machine there, which people could play for free. I don't know if you can see that. See if I can get a good picture of some of the other cosplay and makeup. I'll post these in the show also. Here's a good picture of a group of people. They were all zombified. Very, very good makeup artists. Um, Here was my wife getting her makeup at It's called Special Effects Art Studio, the Evocative Workshop. They are, so yeah, you definitely should go and check them out. Ralph Lambiasi. I'm probably saying that wrong. Sorry, Ralph. But he and their makeup artists were there, and they did an amazing job on my wife. They did an amazing job on a whole bunch of other people as well.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Yes, definitely. What is this? This one is.
That's another special effects makeup thing.
Oh, another makeup person.
Because they had different makeup. They were doing you know, just regular makeup, and then they had, you know, airbrush makeup, the latex, or where they were adding like prosthetics.
Yeah, they were adding like parts of flesh falling off. There was another lady who had full prosthetics that had like her whole bottom jaw blown off. Yeah,
it was really cool.
I'll definitely post that video.
I posted that one to like Facebook, and everybody like, great. Where are you? What are you doing? Oh my gosh, you're crazy.
Yeah, it was great.
I'm like, I'm having a good time.
Also, one of the actresses that was there from the Walking Dead video game, Melissa Hutchinson, who plays Clementine. This was her actual card. These are some of the characters in video games that she plays. I don't know if you guys can see that very well, but she plays Clementine in the Walking Dead video game, and she was there as well. I'm hoping that sometime in 2015 that I'll be able to get her on Geekswagg, so we'll be able to do a little interview with her. Her management said that she loves doing podcasts, and she does a great job on those. So hopefully we can get her on the show just to talk about the whole process, talk about the game, talk about maybe what's coming up in the new season even. So amazing. I was actually kind of underwhelmed when I got there at first, but after going around and, you know, seeing what was there and checking out the different actors and actresses, I had a lot of fun. It was a great event. I'm still uncertain though. Would you go back for day 2?
Well, I would if we would have planned it out better. You know, I wouldn't have just gone to kind of walk in circles, and I would have planned it. Okay, so, you know, day 1, I'm going to stand in a really, really long line to
the photo op.
Yeah. And then, you know, the guide includes all of the panels and things that they were going to have. So I would have planned it that way. If we were going to do the 2-day, I would have planned it out better. So I definitely think it's worth the 2 days, because there's a lot going on, and I'm sure like the vendors may have varied between the 2 days as well. So
very true.
I don't know if I would have like went, you know, did the makeup for both days. I think, you know,
she actually did. We went to Outback right afterwards, and she scared the bejesus
out of it was like the Outback that was like right next door.
And you know how those places are.
So there were other people there. I mean, but for some reason the waitress, I guess I don't know if she just came in, she didn't realize that there had been zombies coming in to eat.
Yeah, basically. I don't think they even understood what was going on at the
convention. Some people did. Well, yeah, it was kind of like, what's going on over
They knew something was going on, but they didn't know what.
It was funny though, because the waitress came and, you know, she, like BJ said, it was dimly lit, and you know, at one point I looked like right at her and I said, you know, can I have some ketchup or something? She's like, oh my gosh, that was funny. And then I'm like, what? And then I'm like, oh,
she forgot she even had the makeup on still.
So that was, you know, that was funny.
Yeah. But yes, Walker Stalker Con, lots of fun. Fans of the show should definitely make plans to go next time.
Definitely
are in the area.
A must, or well worth it if you're a fan of the show.
Definitely.
A real true fan. So really, really cool. I'm trying to figure out like when we're gonna go to the next one. There's like one in Boston this summer. I'm like, we gotta go to that one. That would be fun.
We're hoping we can make plans for the Boston Stalker Con, so, and plan it out to be able to do maybe some of the after hours events or something as well.
Yeah.
So, definitely. So, ladies and gentlemen, we thank you guys for spending time just to check out. We definitely want to send a shout out to Chad Coleman, please keep us in mind. You know, we'd love to get an interview, do an interview. Saniqua, I didn't even dare to ask because I know you're going to be very, very busy between, you know, the new little one and everything else that you've got going on with the show. Not to say Chad isn't busy either, but you know. But yeah, if we can get anybody, you know, you'll definitely be seeing your boy Bunny 3000 asking and sending out, you know, sending out some management questions, you know, just getting some not recommendation referrals, hopefully for interviews. So, um, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for spending time with us. This is your boy Bunny 3000, along with
Adrianne, I guess. I don't know. I don't have a cool tag name, so Adrianne.
So yes, thank you for spending time with us. Heat Magazine, Geekswagg, we are here for y'all to keep you all up to date and in the know with everything that's geek related. So, thank you guys, and we are out. Say bye to the people, baby.
Bye.